welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Category 3 here, just making the way out round this turn. The sprint starts just to go on to this boardwalk and it finishes just as you come off the far side here. Absolutely sprinting their way through. The leaders go through.
Category 5 and Category 6 have nailed it out of the start pen. And I can tell you, Kolkowitz is there, Zabala is there, Angie Quapp is there. Martina Ervek is there as well. Jessica Hamilton, we know she can sprint. She put a big push on, and now the Category 1 riders are coming to the fore, being led out by Category 6 and Category 5. Look at that. Category 5, Category 2 and Category 1 all on the bridge at the same time. Category 2 going in the opposite direction. The Category 1 pack have now separated themselves from the Category 6 and Category 5 starters that they came out of the pen with. And it is indeed Brittany Lytton. She's pushing on with a big dig at the moment. Fed up now, and with the fact that the group is so big at the 24.7 kilometre marker and absolutely motoring now. So Category 4 are now through the last sprint of the day, and they're going to be the first riders to get to the Hederiot Ascend climb, which is the final climb on this racecourse here in Hederiot today. Holly Bergin has put an attack in. Angel Hadlock has tried to go with her. So has Karwanoska, but it is indeed Bergin. She's got a 7-second gap now on the chase group. The gradient is getting steeper now for Category 3. Category 1 and Category 2, they are not at the climb yet. Category 2 are the closest at 32.2 kilometres. If you could turn your head and see, they are coming up for the sprint behind you. The push is on behind and it's being led by Hadlock, Bonilla. Kawazuska is there as well as Collins. Gino is in the mix as well. It's now 5 riders, but Bergin sees the finish line. Holly Bergin takes the win today in Category 4.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. مشاهدينا الكرام، متابعينا في كل مكان، أهلا وسهلا بكم.
هنا هولي بورغن تحاول من جديد، صاحبة المركز الأول والقميص الأصفر في الأسبوع الماضي، أن تبتعد بمحاولة بريك أواي في بداية الكيلو الثاني. كما نشاهد في هذه اللحظات سباق اليوم لمسافة 40 كيلو و500 متر في مضمار الحديريات في عاصمة الإمارات العربية في أبو ظبي. لينون أيضا متواجدة الهولندية في الأمام، ونهاية 300 متر. وبعد ذلك سوف نشاهد من الفائزة في هذا السبرنت. التي تصل أولا هي لينون، ولي صوفي خلفها مباشرة. أما التي تأخذ القميص الأخضر في هذه الفئة فهي لي صوفي. لورا الآن هي التي تتقدم، والمتسابقة أنا سفادروستروم تعود من جديد. هل تعود من جديد؟ نعم بالفعل. أنا السويدية بالمركز الأول للسبرنت الأول عند الكيلو 2 و500 متر. الآن تنطلق المتسابقة في هذه الأمام. نعم بريجيت فلينسكي متخصصة في السبرنت. بريجيت تتقدم على جميع المتسابقات في نقطة السبرنت في هذه الجزئية 300 متر. كاترين مونتويا، صوفي جيفوني أيضا تنطلق الآن. صوفي جيفوني بوضع عالي الآن تضعه في هذه اللحظات. وكاترين مونتويا في الأمام تنطلق، صاحبة القميص الأخضر في وسط الكوكبة. الآن في الأمام دورانسي كونزاليس، وتصل أول الدورانسي بداية الصعود لمسافة 4 كيلو و400 متر. وهنا منذ البداية رفع رتم السرعة من قبل جوليا مونتيغامري. جوليا الآن تضغط. هنا أيضا خلفها المتسابقة ماريا الفيرا، هي من الفئة الرابعة، تم الوصول إليها. الآن تحاول البقاء معهم للاستفادة منهم، ولكن صعب جدا في صعود المرتفعات. نهاية السباق 100 متر على نهاية السباق للفئة الرابعة، والمتسابقة البريطانية بفوزها اليوم الثاني على التوالي بالمركز الأول والقميص الأصفر، والاحتفال في الفوز بالثنائية القميص المنقط والأصفر. بطلة السباق البريطاني هولي بورغن.
So hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. It's qualifier race number 4, the 4th of our qualifiers this month, with 2 qualifying rides being required to take our riders through to the finals. My name's Matt Payne. I'm here in the Full Speed Events studios with Emma Martin. Emma, it's great to be here in the studios. This is our last show in this studio.
It is indeed, because we are packing up these studios and relocating them in the UK. But can I just say, this is also the first time this year in 2025 we've had 4 qualifying races on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club.
So it is a weekend of firsts
It is.
and lasts.
And last.
The question is who's going to be first and who's going to be last on our course in Arabia. They're going to be heading out there. This is a cracker. I really, really love this course profile. I've been excited about this all week, getting really giddy. Emma, run us through the details.
Well, 34.7 kilometres of racing today in Tel Marib for the women. I think it's got to be one of the shortest courses we have ever done. 335 metres of climbing faces the races. They come out of the start pen. The Aldar HQ sprint is the first sprint they come across at 2.5 kilometres. We transition through and up the aquarium. We drop down the other side, up the nasty kicker that is the Leeward Desert climb. We do the transition through the Tel Marib sprint, and I think the biggest challenge of the day facing the riders and racers, the final 800 metres to the finish line, 10%, that final gradient of the last kicker on the racecourse.
And I think one of the things to bear obviously is the scale there, the size of the climbs. The biggest climb is the climb up through the aquarium, and sometimes that is our shortest climb. So it's going to be really interesting to see how our riders deal with that. Now, the Intercontinental squad are our biggest squad here today in Category 6 of our 6 categories. Intercontinental, Flores, Driscoll, Hadjuk, and Arias are riding for the Intercontinental squad. Kitty Hawk Racing, they have 3 riders, 1 less. That's Hamilton, Jaskalainen, and Holtman. We have the Level Cycling Warriors and Level Phoenix, both with 2 riders in their team. Kirchner and Samuel for the Level Cycling Warriors. Botero and Hooker for the Level Phoenix. All our teams away. However, they're just a mere soupçon of the riders that make up the main meal here today. Our big race field here today. We're going to see some tasty action. Emma, who are the highlights? Who's going to be our hot spicy pepper in the menu today?
Well, 28 riders on the start sheets today in Category 6. Fabulous to see so many women taken to the start line. Barco is here. She took a 5th place. Johnson took 6th. Liz Smithson, welcome back to racing. Liz Smithson, she's had a period of time away from the Sunday Race Club. Great to see her back. She took the climb overall last week and 2nd place. Finucci Korn Sarasuk was also on the podium last week. She took 3rd, and I've seen her already in the mix today. The pack are rolling and rolling strongly. 1 or 2 riders just distanced from that spicy start. They're going to need to push back on, but it's a fairly steady state start today. The first 1.5 kilometres, you can see on the top right hand corner the profile, the red line. Very steady state, flatland start out of the start pen. A small dip before we go into that first sprint at 2.5 kilometres of the race today.
So our Category 6 riders are wearing those purple jerseys. The main bunch leading on your screens at the moment. 1 or 2 riders just distanced from the main group by a little way, 20, 25 metres or so. There are a number of riders a bit further back at about 200 metres down on our lead riders, but as you can see, Arai, Lodano, Haugland, as well as Hadjuk and Barco, Sarasu, all in the mix. Looks like Shellboy is also in this mix as well. Good sized group here, Emma. This course, it's bumpy to start off with. And normally you wouldn't even notice these bumps on the course profile because of the scale of one of the big monster climbs. Today, it's very different.
And you can see the detail on the map today.
You can see the detail even without your glasses on the map today. But I have to say, it does for me emphasize, as you said, that very last climb. But it also really does pick out that Leeward Desert climb when you come out, because you're coming into it after that long descent, and as we all know, if you ride regularly, long descents into climbs, some people really struggle with that.
Well, it's an interesting move because the aquarium climb, just an average gradient of 2.5% over the 3.2 kilometres of length that the aquarium climb is. For me, these groups are so well matched. You may lose 1 or 2 riders off the back of the group, or if there's a concerted attack, you'll start to see riders go off the back of the group on the aquarium climb. But it's not normally, and I say the word normally, a climb we see a winning move on. because of the nature, length, and gradient of that climb. From the top of the aquarium climb to the bottom of the Leeward Desert climb, it's a 4.2 kilometre downhill. Now, it's a stepped downhill, so it is very, very technical. For me, I think it's actually easier to break away on the downhill almost of the aquarium climb than it is the ascent, because of that technical nature of the downhill. And there are some really great places where you could indeed attack. Going into that Leeward Desert climb, for me, that is a strategic climb because you can break away on that. It is so short, so sharp. And if you have ridden it, it's painful, let alone raced it. The transition then from that 21.5 kilometre marker at the top of the Leeward Desert climb, you've got a long transition, and it really is a long transition, pretty much over 10 kilometres, well, nearly 13 kilometres before you get to that final 800 metres. And that final 800 metres, you are going to need to have your fire pedals on.
I think that is going to be interesting to see who has got wings on their heels today, who is going to climb up the climbs at speed, and who's going to be able to use them as an offensive weapon rather than in defense. Well, Category 6 are already well underway. Let's move across to our next starters. 5 minutes between most of our race categories, in fact, all but one. In our Category 5, the first step up that ladder, we have two teams represented. Our captain of the Black Panthers team, Palmer Mongelli, and then for Wheels of Fire, we have Camila Zulaga and Elena Lopez. They are but 3 riders of what is a near 30-rider race field.
Oh, they're going to need Wheels of Fire today, I tell you. But Zuluga took the sprint last week in Category 5. 29 riders on the start sheets today. The winner of Category 5, Katarina Coe, last week, going up into Category 4. That leaves us with a list of riders, which we're going to go through very shortly.
So we're going away from our race start here on the boardwalks in Arabia, a very familiar race start for many of our racers here on the Sunday Race Club. And today, our riders have taken off at over 6 watts per kilo. They decided, let's dial it out of these pens. We're just in with Angie Arias at the moment. And as you can see, the group really here are motoring. Let's run you through a very quick recap of the new user interface, new for release for interface. Tops and center, the riders' stats, the time they've been racing at the moment are still as well under a minute. The heart rate, the watts, green is good because that means our riders are sheltered from the wind. If the watts go back to black, well, if you're back in black, you're back in the wind and you're going to be feeling that effect. The cadence, the pedal revs per minute, is the last of the numbers on the right of those 3 key digits across the top. We then have the speed at the moment, just under 38 kilometers an hour, and currently having covered 600 meters or 0.6 of a kilometer. Those are the key rider stats for the rider that you can see highlighted with the blue bar on the right of the screen, and as it says in the center bottom, spectating as well. So this is Palmer Mongelli.
It is indeed. And Mongelli, part and parcel of the pack. The pack came so fast out of that start pen. It was absolutely phenomenal. Bettina Pila just 2 seconds back on the group at the moment. And hopefully she's going to push through and the entire group are going to be together in Category 5. But there was a 6.6 watts per kilo kick off the start line. I mean, that, well, not sure that was required, but it did get them up to pace very, very quickly. Now, 29 riders on the start sheets in Category 5. And we said that Katarina Coe has gone up to Category 4. She has indeed, leaving the rest of the top 5 still in Category 5. But Category 6, well, they were the first ones out of the pen. And Jessica Hamilton, well, she took the win last week. She also took the sprint overall. Really, really strong. She's not picked up, well, she actually has picked up the sprint. I'm just looking at the avatars changing place, and Jessica Hamilton has indeed picked up the sprint jersey, saying the fastest time through the Aldar HQ sprint. Jessica Hamilton took first place, Birdie and Driscoll in second, Brooke Samuel in third, but Hamilton in that green skin suit. And for me, that's really often her target. She really is a sprinter. Where the courses suit a sprinter, Jessica Hamilton rises to the top.
And I think today is going to be a course where even those climbs, because they are short, because they are power sprints, if we can see a big, powerful rider who can put down big watts, and that's the key thing here. You can actually get over some of these courses without being a pure climber. And I think Hamilton here is showing her strength and speed, and those big watts are going to really come out. Now, one of the things to remember, we have 3 competitions effectively per category, 6 categories. We have our sprint competition. The leader of the sprint competition is resplendent in the green skin suit. And that is true of all categories with the category number on the back. If they take a win of a segment, the fastest through the segment, so Jessica Hamilton takes away the prize for winning the first of our segments. The riders through there, the top 5 riders get 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 points on each sprint segment. That's added up throughout the duration, and there's an overall sprints competition. The same is true of the climbs competition. So in the climbing, we have the polka dot skin suit awarded to the leader and then winner of the overall competition. Prizes for the fastest rider through each of our climb segments. Remember 2 today, the aquarium climb and the Leeward Desert climb. And of course, the prizes to be the fastest through those segments, really critical. And of course, the prize for the overall, well, 10 riders receiving prizes in each race category for the fastest 10 riders, whether in category 6, category 5, or in category 4, who are the riders waiting to start. There are next riders away. 3 teams are represented. We have Nolan Kokkonen captaining the Pedal Queens here today. The Velocity of Vipers, they're going to be captained by Katarina Coe. And the Rhino Squad, they have strength in death and some. Angel Ann Hadlock, Gina Van Rossum, Rosalina Barragan, and so Angie Benilla. We have got a very strong Rhino squad here today. Will they be able to charge the way to the front of the race? We will find out. But into our last few seconds, the riders separated by 5 minutes at the starts.
Well, they are indeed. And Holly Bergin being left in the start pen as category 4 go. And that's because she's gone up to category 3. She took the win in category 4 last week. She's left in the start pen and she's got to wait until those category 3 riders leave the pen today. The category 4 riders have already left. Hadlock from the Rhinos took 2nd place to Bergin last week. Kawazuska took 3rd. She's in the pen today. So is Kathy Collins, who took 4th. And Camilla Atahulpa, who took 5th place. Randy Gino took 6th. And the sprint competition last week, it was really close and competitive. Now the pack are rolling and rolling strongly. One rider off the back already, though, having the steadiest start today.
And we've got to remember that the riders need to get 2 qualifying rides in. That means that they need to ride 2 of our qualifiers to get into our finals next week. Always the last Sunday in the month. This month, we have 5 Sundays in the month. Aren't we lucky? And that means we get 4 qualifying races and our finals. Looking forward to seeing what Musa Al Mansouri can do in our finals. And of course, we have the team competition coming into play in the finals as well. So whilst it is an individual prize list for the qualifiers, when we get to those finals, the team competition will come into play. And we will be seeing who is able to take this out in the team competition, not just individually.
I think I just spotted a little bit of off-roading there. Pavement riding, bunny hopping up the curb, ride on the pavement, bunny hop back down.
All right, it's good if you've got the skills. It's definitely been a weekend where the skills have been to the fore. Both of the UAE teams have needed that this weekend in Milan San Remo. I'm not going to give you any spoilers.
No spoilers
but
allowed.
Let's just say, if you watch a men's and a women's classic this season, you're going to be spoilt for choice, because I have to say the very first classic of the season, La Primavera or the Milan San Remo, has been an absolute blast in both of them. Do give it a watch. Have a watch of the team races and the rides in there.
Matt is jumping up and down in the studio with excitement.
Yes, they are brilliant. They're really good. I can't tell you how good they are. It is. And this is what I love about cycling, whether we're indoors, we're outdoors, whether at the BMX track or we're at the cyclocross, we're lucky enough to be able to watch a lot of cycling of lots of different disciplines. And there's always something happening. There's always the randomness of it where something can happen quite unexpectedly. You get somebody who's on good form, bad form. You get differing tactics. You get the different terrain, the different parkour. Today, we've got that different course, 34.7K. The Category 4 riders, Emma,
Oh, rolling.
they're rolling along through Ferrari world. They're having a better day than Ferrari have had in the Chinese Grand Prix.
You're not allowed to give any spoilers on any sport.
It's not a spoiler. I think it's fair to say it was fairly expected.
Well, let me tell you who's expected here. Hadlock, Gino, Goodall, Katarina Coe is in the mix. She's just come up from Category 5 into Category 4. Rosa Herrera in the mix as well in this group, as well as Musa Al-Mansouri. Perkakova, she is one to watch, and so is Kathy Collins. Kathy Collins has been riding really strongly since she joined the Sunday Race Club. And as we mentioned, taking that 4th spot last week.
It really is a real who's who in here. We've got Cici Ola in here,
Yes.
looking really. So she I think today we've got Carmona in there. I've seen Barragan in here.
Tompkinson.
Herrera riding as well in this category. As Herrera, for me, it's almost we're reaching the stage now where all these groups are so competitive. It's amazing to see how strong the racing is. It does make it difficult though. Now, one of the things that has really changed recently for the riders is the draft has changed as we move through and how the draft is felt as a rider. And it's really evident, I think, when we watch the sprint here that we're seeing unfold. This is sprint number 1 for Category 4. They've hit it really quickly because of the speed they're traveling. Using the draft, even more important than it has been before.
Oh, completely, because it makes such a difference. I mean, we've just seen the pack go through and we've seen the riders on the front of that pack. So, for example, Giraldo went through and right at the front of the pack, setting a strong time, but nowhere near the time of the riders at the back of the group. Randy Gino, Hannah Perkakova taking the sprint.
Well, they have set a high bar for our Category 3 riders to match. Away they go. We have got a number of teams here today. We've got lots of teams with 2 riders, interestingly, today in our Category 3 race.
They're
the riders
prepping for next
going
week.
on. They are indeed, and it is always good to see those 2 names. So please do put them in if you're entering, even with the qualifiers. It does give us some really interesting insights into who's riding well. Now, we have got the freewheeling spirits here, Gemma Daniels and Carolina Leinonen. We've also got Profita rolling with 2 riders in the team, Eva Esther and Lee Sophie Rammert. Always a rider to watch. My tip for this course today in this category. Sunday crew, we've got Joanna Zimmerman and Catherine Montoya. We've got 2 riders representing their teams and proudly putting their team names in. Golden Light for Team Golden Light and a certain double race winning Holly Bergin for La Rosa Blanca as well.
She's come up into Category 3. Montoya took the sprint for the Sunday crew last week, the sprint competition overall. Now, the freewheeling spirits, Gemma Daniels took 2nd place last week in Category 2. Carolina Leinonen took 6th place. And I mentioned that. I don't normally go down to 6th place, but I am, because there was only 9 seconds separating the top 8 women in Category 3 last week. It was a phenomenal race. In fact, a lot of the race fields were very, very close last week on that course in Hadariat. But 9 seconds, 8 riders. Great racing in Category 3.
And really close racing. Good to see Kim Manila in here. Kim Manila, of course, who's having a great road season at the moment as well. Mixing it up between the 2 disciplines and really riding strongly. Good to see her here as well. So remember, this is the Sunday Race Club. We have got 6 categories taking to your race starts. Category 6, 5, 4, 3, setting off at 5-minute intervals and a 10-minute interval between Category 3 and 2, and then Category 2 101. Each and every Sunday, 52 Sundays in the year, the Sunday Race Club rolls out time and time again, and lots of different racing and riders in the mix. The latest update is available. If you haven't already downloaded it, do make sure you download the new version of MyWhoosh on iOS, on Android, and of course, you can get on Windows as well. New virtual shifting being really, really well received. Everybody loving that. So if you have a single speed bike, whether that is a fixed wheel bike, or you're going to ride it on a single cog on the back, then do jump on board and make sure you have a play. Bluetooth protocol allows you to customize a controller that you can pick up anywhere. Lots of people picking them up online and customizing them to suit, whether that's like a mini double keyboard, or whether it's the buttons in your shifters, or whether that is a button on top of the stem. Lots of different options out there. Lots of great advice on the Facebook page for that as well. So, in with our Category 6 riders at the moment. Category 6 riders, Emma. First riders away here. Is your expectation that they're going to stay clear at the front of the race today because of the parkour that we have?
Well, I have to say, it could well be possible. The parkour and the course today really does offer the opportunity for Category 6 to be the first group of riders across the line. For me, it completely depends on how Category 5 execute the race, because I think they are probably the only category likely to make the catch today to Category 6. If the Category 5 riders sit up and take the flatter sections fairly steady, conserve energy, and then just execute on the climbs, Category 6 could well be the first group over the line today. If Category 5 race hard, then I think they will make the catch to Category 6 and go up and over the top.
And each and every time we go through a sprint, we see an injection of pace, and that's what we're seeing now in Category 3. And the last of our riders so far to have left those pens. You can see the riders moving through from the back towards the front. Montoya sprinting her way through there, and interesting to see she's back on form and riding very strongly here. No real surprises to see her in the green skin suit.
No, she is. She's a really good rider. She took the sprint competition overall last week in Category 3. She's obviously intent on doing it again, and part and parcel of her March plan. She's executing it really, really well.
Some great riding, some great racing. Interesting to see who is sprinting well, who's climbing well. A real variety of courses as well, with us having those 4 qualifiers this month, plus the finals to come. That real mix really does mean that we're going to have a real overall rider at the end of this, I think, probably in terms of scores of who's scored the most.
Well, I think it's really interesting because we're heading to California for the finals next week. It's going to be the course, well, I was going to say it's going to be the course with the most climb this month, but not quite. But it is going to be quite a course with a lot of elevation. In comparison, some of the courses we've seen this month, March has really given us new courses on the Sunday Race Club. We've seen a lot more flat courses. The new draft has obviously come out, and we've been looking at that and exploring it in the Sunday Race Club. The courses have matched it, and what it has done is given us some very different type of racing, different competitors being in the mix at the end. And I think when we do the analysis on March's racing for the final next weekend, we may well be in for a few surprises.
And one of those tools that we use here regularly is MyWhoosh info. Do make sure you go to mywhooshinfo.com. Lots of detail on there. So please make sure that you jump on board. A massive job being done by the team at MyWhoosh Info. Very small number of people putting in a huge amount of work. Do jump on board on there. We will be in the offices getting a whole load of stats together, as well as checking out the riders. Do make sure if you're one of our fantastic competitors that you do jump on board, give us a follow, send us a message. I know lots of you already do that and have done over the past few years. It is at Matt Fix of Pain for me and at biking_. And we also get to check out a lot of the other races that we cover all the way across, from World Championships to our local races. We've been embedded. Emma, coach, of course, on MyWhoosh, as well as the co-host of the Virtual Velo podcast. You'll catch up with Emma, bringing you insights into all sorts of things esports related on there as well. Meanwhile, let's get back into our racing. We're back in with Category 4, already heading through the second of our sprints here, and you can see another big kick here this time round. Randy Gino was
From the back
holding that,
to
flew
the
through.
front. Absolutely perfect execution from Gino, showing you, if you want to cut a piece of footage for perfect sprinting technique and you want to show a rider how to do it new to racing, cycling, esports, cut that clip of Randy Gino.
Textbook stuff from Gino, and it earns her the points that she took. What was I think fastest in category, the second fastest time actually overall through that, I think. But it certainly means that the points she accrued there, which were 5 points in that sprint, have been added to the points from the first sprint. She's now in the lead in the sprints competition.
And back to the back of the group, back in a drafting position where she is going to be expending less energy than the other riders. This is absolutely textbook racing.
It is great to see Randy really making herself at home here in the race field, using those skills. Really experienced esports rider and racer, and a rider who are going to look forward to seeing in action next week in our finals. Don't forget, the format is really simple. Each and every Sunday, before our last Sunday, or our qualifiers, last Sunday is the finals with the team competition in play. Now, heading out onto course next are our Category 2. This is the penultimate race category. The CD Racing team here. They have one rider in the shape of Anna Caramello, as do Racing Ruse, Stephanie Briggs, representing the Racing Ruse. The Velocity Vikings have two riders representing them, both Anna Embring and Anna Svarstrom in the team. The Core Race team and the Purebred Daisies both have three riders in each of their teams. Core with Dorothy Gonzalez-Reyes, Carolina Kolkowitz, and Sophie Giovanni, the Purebred Daisies team. Fen van der Vliet, Jenny Eck, and Pia Kuma. Now, that is 10 riders out of the race field, about a third of the race field in Category 2. It traditionally has been one of our closest race and most competitive race categories, but with the battles being very fiercely fought and closely fought across all of the race categories. Now, it's getting harder and harder to give any one category that title.
It is indeed. And I know I said that Category 3 was close. Category 2 was close as well last week. 6 seconds separating the top 9. I think that's a blanket. If you throw a blanket over the top of the race field, 6 seconds covered at the top 9 places last week. Wagner took the win. Haag, Engstrom, Van Shaw, Field, Denton. Svartström took the sprint competition. Eck took the climbing competition. It was absolutely brilliant. Category 2 really putting on a show last week, and I think they're going to be putting on a show this week as well. And can I just say, one of the other things to mention, Category 1's women's time, Gabby Guerra last week, 65 minutes and 1 second. Dana Wagner's winning time in Category 2, 65 minutes and 2 seconds.
Wow.
She was actually the closest rider in time to Gabby Guerra last week on the Sunday Race Club. And that was all about the different way Category 2 raced the course versus Category 1.
And Category 1 have traditionally, this time of year and each and every year, a busier race schedule, particularly if they are esports specialists, and that impacts on their tactics. Now, as these riders come around here in Category 2, there is a strong race field here. That was Dana Wagner. Was that same trend reflected across all of Category 1 and 2?
So Wagner, I should say, going up to Category 1. Indeed. The Category 2, as I mentioned earlier, that top 9 riders were within 6 seconds of each other. So actually, if you look at the top 10 overall in the race and you don't search it by category, pretty much I think only the top 3 in Category 1 made the top 10 positions overall.
Wow. That is I'm not sure if that's the first, but it's got to be pretty. But it's
Well,
certainly
we
the first for a
talked
long time.
only a couple of weeks ago, earlier on this year, we talked about the fact that Category 3 had set a faster
Yes.
time than Category 2 in one of the races. And again, that was about how those two groups raced the course. Now, let's just have a little look at Category 2 because the pack are rolling and rolling strongly at the 1.6 kilometre marker. They're coming into the dip that is the Ferrari showroom. Now, Svanström took the sprint competition, Jenny Eck took the climb competition. The win was Dana Wagner. Uh, Engstrom was third, Van Shaw was fourth, Denton was sixth. Thompson has come up into category 2 from category 3. That, I think, is going to be a really good addition to category 2 and a great challenge for Maria Thompson.
It'll be really interesting to see how Thompson responds to that, how those riders respond to moving up and down categories. Is often very telling indeed. We're in with one of our real competitive riders, Dorothy Gonzalez-Ruhr, a real good rider when there is a sprint as well as when there is a climb.
Well, they do, and the category 2 is rolling really strongly. It's wide across the road at the moment, indicating a very similar pace, and they're rolling really, really strongly. Now, the first sprint today coming at the 2.5 kilometre marker, and we've seen some great sprinting already. But Pia Kuma off the back of the group, Gonzalez Rua. Now, she for me is one to watch. She is a strong, strong sprinter in this category, and she's also someone to watch out for in the finish.
Well, here we go. Coming in to the Aldar HQ sprint start at the moment. And you can see the pickup here. Gonzalez-Ruhr sprinting from the rear of this group, going to get into the draft. Has she been too far off the back here to score? She's now starting to pick up the rider at the back of this bunch. In comes the kick. Has she done enough to go through? I think that's a big ask. Maybe just a little bit too far back with the new draft in there to take away a top spot in category 2. Category 2 through the first of our sprints. Remember, category 6 off first, then 5, 4, 3, 2, and now it is our final category to take to race start. We have Ablock International, represented by Maria Holcroft, Mika Soderstrom, and Nelly Larson. Fully calibrated, represented by Elizabeth Van Hewling and Elise Gallegos. Saris squad have got Elena Wiseman. The Supernova squad with Amelia Van Hoven, Francesca Tomasi. Sweat Sensations, Catherine Fur, Merle Bruni, and Nicole Mayer. The Thundercats, Gabby Guerra, Kristen Korchinski, and Marlene Bjarhead. And don't forget, we also have what is going to be 7 other riders who are not in teams as our final race field. The Category 1 race field, the top of the tree, leave the start pens on our final qualifier to move on to our final. So 6 fields underway. Category 1 up and away. Now, Emma, last week when I watched the racing back, because of course this is Ramadan and we do have overlapping races, which means that I have to call the men's race and then jump back into the women's race once from where I left and to watch the rest of the racing.
I wonder where you were going then.
Back into the women's race because, of course, we are on split commentary duties here today. I jumped back in. It was really, really great race. I mean, what a race finish. But I thought Gabby Guerra, I mean, at the moment, she is absolutely on fire. She's really, her dedication seems to be paying off, but getting pushed by riders like Fur and Bruni. Maria Holcroft, though, maybe the revelation at the moment.
Well, I think I said to you probably about 6 weeks ago that Maria Holcroft was riding really, really strongly and really coming into some fabulous form. And she has been doing that and executing that all this month, always on the podium and really, really strong. The Guerra battle has been well and truly entrenched throughout March. Fua, Bruni, Kolczynski, all riding really well. Nicole Mayer coming into the Sunday Race Club fairly recently. Interesting to see her join the Sweat Sensations this month. That's going to be an interesting addition to Fua and Bruni when it comes to the final next week. Wiseman, great to see her here for Saris, new rider to the Sunday Race Club. Last time we saw her on a MyWhoosh race, it was the semi-finals of the World Championships representing Belgium.
And that was back in it was September, wasn't it,
It
for the
was indeed.
qualifiers? So qualifiers in September, the finals in the end of October in 2024. The new date for this year is the 15th of November 2025. The in-person finals in Abu Dhabi, new venue, very close to the Yas Marina track. In fact, the new venue had a quick check of that out, and it's a cracking venue. Going to be really interesting to see the new layout there. But that's in November. We've got a lot of time between now and the middle of November for people to get out and ride. So do make sure you jump on board MyWhoosh. Jump on board and jump in with our riders. Category 1 riders in those yellow jerseys, with the exception of our world champion. Mary Kate McCarthy was really dominant in that period immediately post Worlds. And she was almost unbeatable for week after week, almost, it felt like, almost month after month. But now with the balance has changed. The pendulum swung slightly more in Guerra's favour. But they're so close. They're so evenly matched. I mean, they're brilliant. We see battles, duos, so often in sport, in cycling. This is a great duo to see battle.
Yeah, and I almost want to say it has been the battle of March in cycling esports. It has been absolutely brilliant to watch, and it is fantastic. But I have to say, as we do say, the new target is very shortly going to become that 15th of November date. And we are going to start to see these elite athletes planning their training around making and targeting that World Championships. We're going to see form rise and form drop throughout that period. And we're going to see different battles come into play. And we're going to see riders take different strategies. Now, Marlene Bjarhead is off the front at the moment. Tiffany Penner, the Canadian champion, closing down the wheels. Penner, for me, which I think Tiffany Penner is really, really getting stronger and stronger. I'm loving also the US contingent that is in Category 1 at the moment. Van Hooling, Gallegos, Mayer and Kulczynski. 4 riders from the USA in the mix here at the moment in Category 1. All really strong. There is just great racing. I mean, and also I think, Bridget Flensky for me, we don't often see her in the latter half of the race. She's not usually in the front pack because she comes in here and she targets those sprints. And for me, she is one of the stars of Category 1. She knows where her strengths are. She plays to them every week. And she is the sprinting queen of Category 1.
Well, always going to be one of those key things that we keep an eye on, the riders as they are racing. Now, just seeing the times flick up on your screens. They are live at the moment. And up on top, here she comes. It is Bridget Flensky. Business as usual, goes through 13.33, won the fastest time, takes away the win in Category 1. Jennifer Gottelander takes away Category 2 win. And looks like Montoya taking Category 3, Gino taking away Category 4.
Yes, and I am just going to give a heads up to Jennifer Gottelander because she came up from Category 3 to Category 2. And the course last week, it was a really good one to join a new category because there was a lot of drafting and a lot of flat until the end. And she was with that pack going into that final climb. She put in a phenomenal performance for her first race in Category 2. So brilliant job.
So well done to her. Now, just a quick heads up here. We're just in with Bridget Flensky, and we're looking at the time gap, 25 seconds from Flensky to the riders in front. You could just about make them out on the screen, but the radar view, top right-hand side, it's a bit like your satellite navigation in the car with a little bit more detail than some sat-navs, certainly the My First sat-nav. Each of the riders represented. They did have sat-navs when I got my first.
Are you sure? It wasn't just like a big book of maps?
It was an A to Z, yes. It was really a map book. It wasn't a satellite. It wasn't long.
You can't beat a map book. Well, I tell you something who's absolutely beating the map book at the moment, and that's Gonzalez Ruhr. I said keep an eye out for her on the sprints, and she has just executed that sprint, and she held the green skin suit for a very short period of time, and then Goslander's taken it off of her.
So Goslander holding the lead in the points competition at the moment in Category 2. So our riders up and racing. 6 groups of riders away on the Sunday Race Club. Remember, there are prizes in categories 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So prizes on offer across all 6 race categories. Don't forget, of course, at the moment, it is Ramadan. It is the month of Ramadan, and that means that we are coming out at a different time to you with 2 overlapping sets of races. The women's and the men's races overlap. The women's race off first, the men's race off what is effectively an hour later. Don't forget, though, that that means that you can watch one of the races on catch up and one of the races live. So please, please do make sure that you subscribe to the MyWhoosh YouTube channel, and that is really easy to go. Go on to YouTube if you're not watching it on there already. Give it a subscribe and make sure you have a watch of the racing. Don't forget, there's lots of great interviews on there. That is the Inside the Ride podcast. Now, that is hosted by Cy Bradley, the man in charge of the coaching and events on MyWhoosh. Don't forget, though, you can also get some old guests on there. In fact, you can go to category to episode 11 of the Inside the Ride, and you can actually catch up with myself, Matt Payne, and Emma Martin on there. Find out a little bit about what we do, or you can catch up with somebody far more interesting. A lot of our riders, and of course, you can catch up with the latest releases. The latest show out has got all the details of the latest release on MyWhoosh. Do subscribe on there, and it will also bring you all of the race action. Now, into the race action, we're on the climb.
We are indeed, and category 6 are on the Leeward Desert Climb. The push is on at the moment, and you can see the push coming from Al Ray at the moment. She's in the polka dot skin suit, meaning she set the fastest time up the aquarium climb. It's looking like she's going to set the fastest time up the Leeward Desert Climb as well in category 6. That is one strong contender. Smithson, Sargentson, Barco, Holtman, all at the back in the front of the group. You can see the group in the distance of category 6.
So the climbers on the course stretching their legs out, and look at our right time there. The gap 20 seconds. Now, the white figure in front, that is all right. That is the rider in the polka dot skin suit, the white skin suit with those red dots on. That is the classic climbers jersey. You can see the gap also on the screen on the top right hand side. You can see the 2 bunches, the 2 sections represented by purple discs. The course profile moves from right to left, the rider's position indicated by that yellow vertical line with the arrow on top of it. And of course, we've got the gradient the riders are facing at the moment. 0% for our category 6 riders. The category 5, well, they are on the climb. They're at 6% of climbing. They're starting to catch the riders who set off in front. Katie Bago leading them up here ahead of Gerardo Alze and Mongeli. So the leading group in category 5 at the moment, chasing the lead group in category 6. At the moment, all the groups pretty much in start order in terms of our leaders.
Yeah, they are indeed. And category 5 rolling really strongly on the course today. And I might be eating my words later. Well, I did say category 5 would be the only ones who catch category 6, didn't I?
Do you know the easy way to eat your words?
How?
Alphabetic spaghetti.
That's a good idea. I've never thought of that one.
Tinned alphabetic spaghetti.
Yeah, create words and then eat them. Well, I'll tell you something. At the moment, Penner, Holdcroft, and Mayer, the 3 riders down the road on the Category 1 race, they're at the 6.5 kilometre marker and they are motoring. Now, these 3 riders, I think, could well and truly be capable of staying away, and it's going to be interesting to see what the riders in the group do behind, whether they look to close down. And actually, Van Hooling is on the front, and take a look at that. That is one big push. Now, she either wants to jump across to the group. Is anybody else going to go? Kolchinsky starts to respond. So does Biarhead. Anguera. Okay, this is it. Van Hooling is going to tow them across.
Well, this is the problem, isn't it? You break away, and then it's about the response. Who responds? If you've got somebody who's less fancy and less of a has less of a reputation than Liz Van Heulen, then potentially you might get across. But the problem is, once you're in category 1, pretty much everybody's a big name, and everybody is a threat. So with that breakaway clear here as we come in to the sprint, the chasers are on the way in and through. I am going to be disappearing from the studio. I'm going to go head down to the original old beer cellar studio for the last time for the men's race. Do stay with, join and watch or the men's race later on.
Yeah,
Catch up,
go
or
anywhere.
you can join me and then come back to the men's race. I suggest watching all the women's race first and then all the
Exactly.
men's race. 12 sets of riders away. 2 sets of races complete, the men's and the women's race. From me, Matt Penn, I'll leave you in the more than capable hands of Emma Martin.
Well, do not go anywhere because you do not want to miss this. Now, Gonzalez, Rua, and Goslander. The battle in category 2 for the sprint competition is between those two, and they do keep switching. And as we said, Goslander took the first sprint, Gonzalez, Rua's taken the second, Svalstrom, Lunding, Thompson. And in there, the top 5 fastest sprints. Number 6, category 4, Randy Gino. What a phenomenal effort from her. And we said it was textbook stuff, and that textbook stuff puts it in the top 10 overall. The rest of the top 10, Kuma Van Shaw and Embring, category 2. Montoya saying the fastest time in category 3, giving her 10th spot. Category 1, I'm having a look. Catherine Fur went through in 33rd. She's in the green skin suit, but I will say it, the results are live, and Bridget Falensky is not through that section yet. She could well be looking for that green skin suit very, very shortly. They may update. You can find those updated results on the MyWhoosh.com website underneath results, and the results are on there at the moment, and they are indeed live. Now, live at the moment, we are in with category 6, and you can see there the polka dot skin suit, Liz Smithson in that. The green skin suit, well, that is being held by Hamilton in category 6. But the group are coming back together. Ray, you can see her just around the corner ahead. She held that gap and she held that lead. It was out to nearly 20 seconds when they were on the Liwa Desert climb. They're now at the 22.8 kilometre marker. They're down off the other side and on the flat transition, running towards the Tel Marib sprint. But that does not come until the 29.8 kilometre marker. It's a long run now as the group reel back in Al Ray. Jaskalainen is there, Smith is there, Barco, Holtman. They are all in that leading group as the big group of category 6 riders come together. This is category 4, and the leading group 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 riders at the 20.3 kilometre marker. This is the Liwa Desert climb for category 4. Elos, Benilla, Hadlock, Barragan, Goodall, they are all in the mix and climbing strongly. The polka dot skin suit is there. The green skin suit is there. Part and parcel of the mix. Gina Van Rossum holding the polka dot skin suit. Nice work there up the aquarium climb to achieve that. Can she hold it here on the Liwa Desert climb? This is a 2-step climb. Big, steep, long section first. Flat land, and you can see on the top right-hand corner, that's where the riders are at the moment. The draft is going to kick back in. The riders are going to come back together, and then there's the final kick before they go over the top, and underneath the polka dot banner, Van Rossum is going to be looking for this. Gino is there as well in the green skin suit. Holtman, Barco, all in the mix here. This, we switch back in with the category 6 riders. They're at the head of the race. They were the first riders out of the start pen. Category 1, well, they were the last riders out of the start pen. 15 minutes underway for category 1, and Maya Henna, they are still down the road. That gap now, well, interesting to see. It's extended now to 15 seconds. Van Heuling was doing the chasing and leading the charge, but the group now settled down behind. Mayer and Holdcroft pushing on and pushing on strongly. It's looking like Penn has just been distanced off the back of the group slightly at the 10.6 kilometre marker. They're on this rolling section at the moment before the aquarium climb. And Mayer and Holdcroft doing a brilliant job at the front here. Just 2 riders time trialling away here. Penna just off the back of the group. I think she's going to try and work her way back on there. She's 3 seconds back. She's got a bit of a choice now because she's right in the middle here between the leading 2 and the chasing group. The chasing group 13 seconds back, but Mayer and Holdcroft are now starting to move away. Interesting here. Penna not going with them. So Fua and Tomasi Bruni all back in the chase group at the moment. Holdcroft and Mayer continuing to extend the lead. Penna looking as though she's now going to put a bit of a dig in here on the climb, trying to close this down at 5.5 watts per kilo, 5.4 watts per kilo. She's kicking on here, but Holdcroft and Mayer now riding clear. So 6 seconds separating Holdcroft and Mayer from Penna. Penna is 13 seconds clear of the chase group behind, which now says to me it's over 20 seconds between Holdcroft and Mayer and the main group here in category one. Now, this is a really interesting move and a great dynamic in this category one race because of the nature of the course. They are about to start to come into the climbing section, the aquarium climb. Holdcroft and Mayer, strong riders, can indeed maintain this pace the whole way. I don't think there could, well, I don't think there's enough climbing here for the strong climbers behind to really come back together again. It's going to be a really interesting chase here, and Holdcroft and Mayer capable, I think, of staying clear. Well, the category one race starting to get really interesting as they head towards the aquarium climb here on the Sunday race. We're in Arabia on the Tel Marib climb, 34.7 kilometers of racing today. It's a pretty short race for the Sunday Race Club, and Tiffany Penna coming back into the pack. Now, the question is, interesting decision coming back into the pack. Does she think that group are going to stay clear, or are they just moving too quickly today? So Penna coming back into the chase group. Tomasi is there, Hermansen is there, Kulczynski, Alberg, all in the chase group. Donna Wagner took the win in category 2 last week, rewarded with that uplift to category 1. Also in that chase group, so is McCarthy and Fua. They come underneath the polka dot banner. It's the start of the aquarium climb. They make the catch to Tiffany Penna, but there are 2 riders still clear at the moment. They are up the road already, and you can see them. Well, these riders can't see them. They're around the bend, out of sight and out of mind. Well, I doubt they are actually out of mind as Gabby Guerra comes to the fore on the climb, quickly marked to Massey, McCarthy, Bruni, Gallegos coming up as well as Fua. So the riders not letting anybody poke their nose out of this group yet. So the category 1 pack moving well and moving strongly. They are indeed chasing 2 riders. 21 seconds up the road are Holdcroft and Mayer. Holdcroft part of that Ablock International group. Nicole Mayer part and parcel of the Sweat Sensations. Fura and Bruni, her teammates, tightly packed in this group at the moment alongside Bjarhed, Hermansen, Van Hooling. Donna Wagner is in there as well. This group, no one really pushing on a strong pace, though, from the group, as expected on the climb. We're starting to see 1 or 2 riders just get distanced off the back of the group. And the climb, well, we've always said this with the aquarium climb, a climb of attrition rather than attack normally because of the nature of the climb. It's just over 3 kilometers long, an average gradient of 2.5%. It is quite a stepped climb, and you can see that on the profile on the top right-hand corner. The stepped nature of the climb, right off of the gradient at the moment, just coming down to pretty much nearly flat. So the rider's taking a bit of draft, and I've seen Gallegos' numbers go down to 2.5 watts per kilo. Sitting in the draft, taking some recovery, really nicely done. Kate McCarthy on the front of the group with Tomasi and Bruni just backing off the pace, taking a deep breath before they go again. Everybody's got eyes on each other. The question is, have they got eyes on the 2 riders up the road? Category 1 is the chase group. Yes, the rainbow jersey is in the chase group today on the Sunday Race Club, alongside Hermansen, Tomasi, Bruni, Alba, Guerra, and Hermansen. Fua is in here as well. And the push is on now. They're just starting to come up onto the back of one of the earlier starting category 2 riders. And the push is coming here from Francesca Tomasi. Bruni covering the move as well. Olberg is up there. Guerra, McCarthy, Kolczynski. Those riders a little bit further back in the group. Olberg coming to the fore. McCarthy coming up. In fact, it was Van der Vliet. They've just pushed past the category 2 rider. The riders moving strongly. We've got interesting moves, I think, ahead in terms of what has been happening in the front group. So Guerra, Bruni, Fua, McCarthy all riding strongly. And indeed, there has been an attack up front, and Maria Holdcroft has put the hammer down. She's gone clear of Nicole Mayer. And Holdcroft, we have said, has been getting better and better and better over the last 6 or 7 weeks. She has really, really come into some amazing form. Fabulous to see, and it's great to see her executing it here on the Sunday Race Club. So Holdcroft pushes on. Let's not forget she was 4th in those World Championships in Abu Dhabi back in October, tied on points with Lou Bates, but taking the better position in the final round of that 3-round competition, so being awarded with 4th place in the World Championships. Nicole Mayer now 20 seconds back. Her and Holdcroft were indeed together on that breakaway. They are not anymore. Mayer is now, whoa, take a look at that. She's still clear of the chase group behind, but she is coming back into the fold. So Mayer goes back into the fold of the chase group and sits in with Kolczynski and Biarhead. She's going to stick on to the back of this group now, but this is the chase group. Donna Wagner's been dropped from the group now on the climb. So Wagner no longer part of the chase group. She's over 30 seconds back now. Van Hooling is on the back here with Mayer, the 2 riders from the USA. They need to be careful here because they could well get caught out the wrong side of the second here. They don't want this group to go away. They're right at the top of the climb. They're going to go up and over the top here. Van Hooling, Mayer need to push here. They're 2 seconds back from Gallegos and Biarhead. That's where the group is. But Mayer, who'd made the attack with Maria Holdcroft, now back into the chasing group, and she's going to have to push if she wants to stay in the mix. So Penner and Wagner no longer part and parcel of this chase group here. Nicole Mayer is the rider. She goes underneath the polka dot banner. She's at 2 seconds from Van Hooling, but Van Hooling and Mayer now are going to end up riding together, I think, because the gap is too big. Alberg and Biarhead are part and parcel of that group. The group now 12 seconds up the road. So Mayer and Van Hooling, the 2 riders side by side at the moment. They're off the back of the chase group and out of the race at the moment. Mayer and Van Hooling are going to have to work together now to see what they can do on the Sunday Race Club today. So Holdcroft pushes on. I tell you something, the chase is now on behind. Maria Holdcroft is taking a recovery on the downhill after a huge push on the ascent. But the rest of the group, well, not quite so much. Now, Holdcroft pushes, but the gap now at 20 seconds. Mel Bruni, Kate McCarthy, Gabby Guerra, all to the fore. The Leeward Desert climb is coming. It's going to be instrumental in that Category 1 race. Category 6, the first riders out of the start pen 56 minutes ago. They're at the 29-kilometre marker. Well, they've got 5.7k left to go on the race, and the size of the group. Holtman now picking up the mantle on the front. Al Rey, the rider who we saw go away through the Aquarium climb and the Leeward Desert climb. Jaskalainen is in there as well as Sarasu, Barco, Sarginson and Smithson, as well as Hamilton on the back of the group. 8 riders in the mix at the moment in Category 6. They are indeed moving and moving strongly. And I can tell you that Category 5 pack, if you take a look at the top right-hand corner of your screen, Category 5 leading group are not far behind. So Category 6, first riders out of the start pen, the current leaders on the road at the moment, coming up to the final sprint of the day at the 29.8 kilometre marker. So that final sprint, the Tel Marib sprint, Hamilton on the back of the group, looking, I think, to go from the back to the front, utilise the draft through the group to continue to lead that sprint competition. She knows exactly what she is doing. She wants to pick up the points in that competition, and she is doing exactly what she needs to do it and to win. She takes the run into the draft. She takes the run through the group. She utilises that draft to push on. She goes from the back of the group to the front of the group, and she continues to push clear. Al Ray putting in a huge kick as well. Really interesting now to see how she performs too. But Hamilton doing what she needs to do in Category 6. Well, I can tell you, she has indeed picked up those points in the competition. Gosh, she takes a deep breath there and just looks to recover. And she needs to look to recover because she's got 4.7 kilometres now to the finish. And there is the little blip that is the 800-metre climb to the finish today. I call it a climb. It's a bit like a wall, really. 10% average gradient for 800 metres. That's the finish of the race today. So the Category 1 race now, they are up and over the Aquarium climb, and they're coming now towards the Liwa Desert climb. The two climbs in combination, really interesting. Up the Aquarium climb, the polka dot skin suit goes to Gabby Guerra. From the Thundercats, Catherine Thua setting the second fastest time, Merle Bruni, McCarthy. Holdcroft leading the race, fifth fastest time on the climb. And for me, that's because she was out in the lead of the race, out in the wind, not able to utilise the draft. And there were many sections on that climb where the draft was rideable. Indeed, if you look at Holcroft's watts per kilo, 6 watts per kilo up the Aquarium climb, the highest per kilo average on the climb, but not giving her the fastest time up the climb itself. Well, the Liwa Desert climb is to come, and the Category 1 riders go underneath the banner. Now, Meyer and Van Hooling, 15 seconds back off of this group at the moment. And this group, well, last time we were chasing Holdcroft, Fua, Alba, Guerra, McCarthy, all in this group. They've just gone past Aileen Francisco de Silva from the Category 2 race. She was in that green jersey. They have Hayley Simmons in sight ahead of her next. That's the next rider. She is between them and indeed Maria Holdcroft, who is climbing steadily ahead of them. The gap, well, they can't quite see her at the moment, but I think that gap is coming down. Holdcroft is going to have to pull the cat out the bag and do some big business here on the Liwa Desert climb if she wants to maintain that gap. The riders moving and moving strongly. It's not really till they get to the final climb of the day that there isn't going to be a benefit for sitting in that group and taking the draft. Well, Category 2, they too are moving and moving strongly. They are down the other side of the Liwa Desert climb, and the pack Denton, Giovanni Vittori, Embring, Kolkowitz is in there as well. So is Thompson. Good to see Maria Thompson in there, the rider who's come up from winning Category 3 last week. Said it was a sort of course that could suit her, and showing us how strong she is. The steep climbing here so far today, very short. The draft being utilised by Thompson to stay in the group. Great to see her progressing strongly. Denton, Vittori, Giovanni, Embring and Thompson, the riders at the front of this leading pack in Category 2. But it is a strong leading group, and you can see on the top right-hand corner those combinations of climbs, the Aquarium climb and the Liwa Desert climb, have done the damage, and we've got 3 groups Category 2 riders on the road in shot at the moment. Kolkowitz is there, Engstrom is there, Embring is there. The Category 2 race field really strong. Van Shaw putting in great performances as well. And the group moving strongly on this transition. And it is a long transition from the top of the Liwa Desert climb into the base of the final climb of the day. I would expect this pack to roll into that final climb together and the final 800 meters of this race to decide the Category 2 race today. So the Category 2 riders moving on: Engstrom, Vittori, Denton, Giovanni and Embring covering the front of the pack here. Megan Highland is in here as well. That's really good to see. Great to see her in the mix too. They continue to roll, and you can see the groups behind. Well, I'll tell you what you can see behind, and I think that is Maria Holdcroft coming into the chase groups behind. So Category 1 moving strongly. Category 2, well, 24.2 kilometres they are at the moment. It's going to be interesting to see where that Category 1 pack is now. So you can see the multiple groups on the road on the top right-hand corner of your screen. So 4 groups at the moment of Category 2 riders. They continue to move, with Vittori now coming to the fore of the group. This pack very happy and very content to roll strongly together, maintaining a good, strong average pace, and very content to ride as a leading group. It's Category 2 race field. They have pushed on, and behind them, the groups are combining. Now, that is an interesting move because one big race pack is going to move faster than 2 smaller groups today. But the gap they've got to close, well, it is a big gap, and this group's full of such strength and depth in Category 2 that, well, they are not going to close that gap down, but it is an interesting move behind. But Vittori, Highland, Kolkowitz, Embring, Engstrom, Denton, the riders in this leading group. They are indeed the riders who have been riding really strongly. Denton took 6th place last week in the competition. Engstrom took 3rd. Svardström, Jenny Eck last week. Great ride, great race to take that climbing comp overall as well. She's in the polka dot skin suit again this week. Now, she's going to be the one to watch, I think, when we come into those final 800 meters. Her climbing is strong. The question is going to be, can any of the other riders outclimb Jenny Eck today on that final 800 meters? The riders towards the back of the group, well, Van Shaw, London, Caramillo, Engstrom in there at the moment. Van Shaw just coming to the front of the group, but she could be one of the riders to watch in this group towards the end of this race. Anna Camarillo, oh, Manshandi is there as well. Interesting to see what takes place in Category 2. We're going to have to watch out because, well, we've got 9 kilometres to go now in the Category 2 race, and the group is, well, the group is big. The group is big, the group is rolling, the group are eyeing each other, and I tell you something, this is what they're eyeing each other for, because this is the final climb of the day, and yes, it says 12.5% on your screens. It's 800 meters with an average gradient of 10%, 800 meters to the top. That is going to be the finish line. These riders have got less than 500 meters to go, and it's Holtman from Alray, from Sarasu, from Jaskalainen, from Barco, from Sargentson and Smithson. Sargentson and Smithson are now out of this, I think, because the gap now is too big. Holtman and Alray. Sarasu is there. These 3 riders now starting to go clear of Jaskalainen and Barco behind. We know Sarasu can climb. Alray, well, she's been strong today. Holtman has had some great performances recently on the Sunday Race Club. Be really good to see her in the mix here as Al Ray goes up and over the top. Holtman and Sarasu. Sarasu now getting distance at 3 seconds, but Al Ray and Holtman side by side on the climb. They've got 350 meters to go, and behind them, the Category 5 race is coming. They may well not be caught, and Category 6 may well be the first riders over the line today on the Sunday Race Club. It is not long until they get to the banner just around the corner, and Al Ray and Holtman are still side by side. Al Ray goes over the top of Man and Holtman. Holtman is there, needs to dig in now, can't let this wheel go. The gradient is at 13.3%. It is so steep at the moment underneath the wheels of these riders. They are battling and battling strongly. In fact, I think Fanucci-Korn Sarasuk is not out of this yet. She's closing the gap down. She's brought it back to 2 seconds. There is still 200 meters to go. They can see the banner. It is going to come so slowly for these riders today because of the gradient. 13.1% at the moment. And Al Ray has got company because Holtman and Fanucci-Korn Sarasu is there as well. Can they hold on? Al Ray digs again. What can Holtman and Sarasuk do at the moment? I'm not sure whether Al Ray hasn't gone too early. Sarasu and Holtman think she might have done, and Jaskalainen is coming as well. Smithson now closing the gap down as well. 5 riders coming into contention in this Category 6 race. As they see the banner, the UCI banner, that is the end of the race today. The gradient has just dropped under 13% for the first time in 100 meters. Category 5 are coming because Elena Lopez has just come into shot, but Al Ray is now riding clear of Sarasu and Smithson. Holtman is down in 4th place now, and Jaskalainen in 5th. Is this going to be the final order of things in Category 6? We will very shortly be finding out. Al Ray went clear of the Category 6 race back on the aquarium climb. They brought her back into the group and closed down the 20-second gap that she had. They've gone into the final climb together with 5 of them in contention. But Al Ray is desperately trying to get over the line, and Fanucci-Korn Sarasuk is coming. Sarasuk is coming. She's coming up onto the wheels of Al Ray. Is it going to be Al Ray? She digs for the final time. Al Ray takes the win in Category 6. Sarasu in 2nd, Smithson in 3rd, Elena Lopez in Category 5. Climbs and comes through from Isabella Giraldo, Katie Bago and Palma Mongeli in there as well in Category 5. Fabulous racing on the final climb from Category 6 and Category 5 today. Absolutely brilliant. So as we drop back in with Category 1, Maria Holdcroft, we watch the catch. So Holdcroft now being brought back into the fold being the group of Category 1 riders. And take a look at that. There's an attack down the left-hand side of the group, and it's to Massey. They've made the catch to Holdcroft, and bang, she goes from the back to the front of the group and pushes on. So Category 1 fighting it out amongst themselves as we drop in with Category 4. Category 6 and Category 5 are over the line, and Sol Angie Bonilla is pushing on here. Rosalina Barragan at 8 seconds with Cicciola and Randy Gino there as well, but the gap is too big, I think. Well, we said that before, but she's still got 100 meters to go. So 100 meters from the finish line, Bonilla is pushing on for the win in Category 4. The closest rider behind her, Veronica Cicciola, is at 8 seconds with Barragan and Gino, but it's going to be Bonilla. She's pushing on. The gap, though, is coming down. Cicciola is absolutely dialing this now, trying to desperately hang on to the coattails of Bonilla. I don't think there's enough road left, and I think Bonilla is going to get this, but the work is being done by Cicciola, and she's pushing on strongly in the final stages of the race here at Tel Marie. But Solange Bonilla is the rider in Category 4 who goes underneath the UCI banner to take the win in Category 4 today. Barragan, Giuliano, and Ciciolka are fighting it out behind for second, third, and fourth. So Bonilla takes the win in Category 4. Ciciolka takes second, but Barragan takes third. Gino takes fourth spot. Well, the earlier starting racers have indeed now completed the race and really pushed on to win the podium spots today. And I tell you something, they're coming thick and fast, because whilst we've got the Category 1, the leaders all together now in that race, coming up towards the 30-kilometre marker, the Category 3 race is battling as well, and Julia Walkenhurst has put in a storming performance today in Category 3. She's 5 seconds clear of Kasani, Kiddle, Estler, Beltran, and Bergin. Holly Bergin coming up from Category 4. She's going to have a top 10 finish today, but Julia Walkenhurst is doing a brilliant job here. So Walkenhurst putting in a strong race today in Category 3. The pack are behind, but I don't think they're going to catch Kasani, Kiddle, Estler, Beltran, Lennon, and Bergin are going to battle it out for the lower places today in Category 3. As Julia Walkenhurst sees the UCI banner, she goes underneath to take the win in Category 3. Kiddle came in hard for second place today. She nearly caught, but not quite. What a race in Category 3. We see the push come on there. Walkenhurst takes the win from Kiddle, from Lennonin, from Kasani, Beltran, Estler, Dijkstra. Bergin takes 8th, Montgomery takes 9th, and Nielsen takes 10th. 15 seconds separating the top 10 in Category 3 today. What racing we are seeing in Arabia on Tel Marib today on the Sunday Race Club. Category 1 and Category 2, the last two of our 6 race fields out on the course. They're on the screen together. Category 2 on the right-hand side of your screen. That is a big race field all together. And the last time we were with them, we took a look, and it was a who's who of Category 2. Category 1, they've reeled Maria Holdcroft back into the field. Bruni Kolczynski, Guerra McCarthy, Fua are all in there. So is Camilla Olberg. The group, well, they are rolling steadily. We're in with McCarthy at the moment. Her heart rate 115, very steady state for Kate McCarthy. And you can see that as the pack roll. They're rolling towards the final climb. And this is going to be an absolute decider today in Category 1 and in Category 2. These final 800 metres have really been instrumental in where these races end up. Really, it does indeed. The groups have been going into the bottom of the final 800 metres. The gradient so steep, over 13.5% in places in this final 800 metres. It's the 800 metres, nothing. At 13%, oh, how far away does that finish line feel? Well, this Category 2 race field are coming towards the base of the climb. Thompson is there, Kolkowitz, Vittori, Embring, Giovanni, Denton is in here as well. They are continuing to motor, and the rider continuing to motor in Category 1. Francesca Tomasi is motoring strongly. Olberg, Gallegos, Kolczynski, all in that leading group, you know, as they're coming in and through the final sprint of the day, the Tel Marib sprint. And we can take a look and we can see the fastest time so far through that sprint today, set by Gonzalez Rua. I'm not sure anything from that Category 1 pack is going to challenge that. Only Bridget Falensky, who is not in the group. Gonzalez Rua setting the fastest time so far through that sprint. These are live results, 13.514. Catherine Montoya from Category 3. Hannah Pekakova from Category 4, and Lady Montoya from Category 5, all in that group. In fact, Camilla Olberg slotting into 8th place from Category 1. So great to see that as well. And Elise Gallegos putting in a strong time as well. So the fastest 8 riders through the Tel Marib sprint at the moment. Well, they were on the screen as the horses run alongside the Category 1 riders, coming towards the last 4 kilometres of this race. The riders rolling and rolling strongly together. 8 riders in that leading group in Category 1. They are 2 kilometres behind the leading group in Category 2. Kolkowitz leading that group out with Vittori, Embring and Caramillo, Van Shaw, Eck, Engstrom, Highland, all in that group. Goslander, on the other side of the group, and that is an interesting mix now as we see the groups continue to roll and roll strongly towards the final climb. Category 2 now, when they look up onto the top right-hand corner of your screen, well, it's the top right-hand corner of their screen as well. They can see that climb coming. They can see the wall approaching. 800 meters, average gradient, 10%. That finish line at the top of the climb. Wow. 12 riders, I think, in the mix in this Category 2 leading group. They are continuing to roll, continuing to push. They're sweeping up riders in Category 6 who started before them and coming in towards the finale of the race. There is not long to go now for this Category 2 pack. They are watching each other. The pace is off. This is energy conservation for the boom that is going to hit them very, very shortly. The wall that is coming with the finish line at the top. Now, last week we said 6 seconds separated the top 9 riders. Could be very, very similar today. Last week it was Wagner, Haag, Engstrom, Van Shaw, Field and Denton. A number of those riders not in the race field today, but they are indeed in this group, and this group is about to explode. They're going to turn the corner. The crowds are cheering. They know what's coming. The riders know what's coming. Well, the finish line is coming, but that is in 800 meters time. That's it. Off we go. Anna Embring comes to the fore of the group. She pushes on here. Karolina Kolkowitz goes as well. So does Vittori. But we've seen riders fade towards the top of the climb. It's steep from the go. The get-go is hard, but Embring and Kolkowitz, Giovanni and London, Thompson are all in the mix, as well as Caramillo is there as well. Anna Caramillo putting in a great push here. But it is Sophie Giovanni leading this out. Giovanni, Megan Highland comes up now on to the wheel, but the pack are not split by much. Giovanni, Highland, Kolkowitz, London, Thompson, Denton, all within 1 second of each other at the moment. Anna Embring working her way up through the race field as well. This pack, well, it has not blown up yet. Giovanni continues to take the lead. Has she managed this effort? Has she gone too hard too early? What is going to happen towards the top of this slope? Because we are going to watch who's going to take the win here in Category 2 on the Sunday Race Club. This is qualifier number 4 in March. We go into the finals next week. Category 2, ever competitive. Giovanni, Kolkowitz, Denton, London, Highland. How do you hold something for the final sections of this course without getting dropped from the group? Well, Kolkowitz has kicked again. Giovanni is watching the move. So is Denton at the moment. London is trying to manage the effort, but we've got 3 riders now going clear in this Category 2 race. Kolkowitz is pushing here. She can see the banner, but it's still 150 meters ahead of climbing. So Kolkowitz, Denton and Giovanni. Giovanni is going to be out of this in a minute because Karolina Kolkowitz is pushing hard. Can anybody close this down? Cornelia Engstrom is having to go with a long run from behind. She's pushing good power at the moment. So is Sarah London, but I don't think they've got enough road left as Karolina Kolkowitz comes up to the top of the climb. She's 2 seconds clear of Denton and Giovanni. Kolkowitz is going to take the win today in Category 2. She goes underneath the banner for first spot. Denton and Giovanni battle it for second and third. Karolina Kolkowitz takes the win. Rianne Denton in 2. Sophie Giovanni in 3. Cornelia Engstrom takes 4th place today. 5th goes to Sarah Lundin. Van Shaw, Vittori, Caramello, Highland, Manshandi, and Embring. They come across the line. That is the leading group in category 2. They are in and through the finish. This is category 1. So category 1 now sweeping in towards the finale of this race, the final 1 kilometre. 1,000 metres left to go. It's a flat run into the base of the climb. And as we saw in the category 2 race, it is indeed an 800-metre wall ahead of them. So category 1 about to come in to the final climb of the day. Bruni, Holdcroft, Tomasi, Guerra, Gallegos, all in the mix. They are all in the mix. So is Lisa Hermansen. She is in here as well. Bjarhead is in here. Fua is in here. McCarthy is in here. The push now goes. They're on to the climb. Holdcroft is pushing on strongly. So is Tomasi. Who is going to take this today? Kristen Kulczynski is in here too, as is Gallegos. Gallegos working strongly. So is Holdcroft and Bjarhead. Marlene Bjarhead doing a great ride here. But it is McCarthy who is pushing on. Camilla Olberg is at the head of the race. Can this be Olberg's day today? She's gone early on the climb. Can she sustain this? Can anybody else match this? McCarthy now pushing. So is Guerra. The power is strong from those two. Kristen Kulczynski in a great position as well. They come past Prado like she's standing still, but we've got this now at the front of this race. Olberg, Guerra, McCarthy. McCarthy and Guerra now go clear of Camilla Olberg. I think that is Olberg out of this. Catherine Fua now pushing on the power, coming up and over the top. So Fua now goes into 3rd place on the climb. McCarthy and Guerra, they are battling wheel to wheel at the moment. Fua is in 3. McCarthy picks up the pace. Guerra picks up the pace. The gap to Catherine Fua is at 1 second. So McCarthy now starts to push on. Can Guerra match her? McCarthy's up at 9 watts per kilo. She can see the UCI banner. What has Guerra got? Can Guerra answer this? She's trying. I think she's not got enough road today. McCarthy pushing on here. Can Guerra close it down? She's still got time, but she's got to push. McCarthy finds another gear. Gabby Guerra in 2. Catherine Fua in 3. Holdcroft in 4. Kulczynski in 5. Battling with Merle Bruni. But Mary Kate McCarthy, the world champion, is going to take the win for qualifier 4 in March on the Sunday Race Club. Guerra in 2. What a finish from category 1. So McCarthy takes the win, Guerra in 2. The push has been on because Holdcroft, Fua, Bruni, Kulczynski, Tomasi coming through the line. Olberg, who put the big dig in at the bottom, is through as well. Let's take a look at what that means in category 1. So Mary Kate McCarthy, the world champion, takes the win. 54 minutes, 34 seconds of racing today. In 1 from Gabby Guerra in 2. Maria Holdcroft, well, she was part and parcel of that early attack. She's rewarded with 3rd place today. Catherine Fua in 4th. Merle Bruni in 5th. Kristen Kulczynski in 6th. Francesca Tomasi in 7th. Camilla Olberg in 8th. Marlene Bjarhead in 9th. And Elise Gallegos today in 10th place in that category 1 race. Well, thank you ever so much for joining me, Emma Martin, here on qualifier 4 of the Sunday Race Club for March. Matt Payne was with us early on. He left the studio to go and start the men's race, where very shortly I am going to be joining him for the finish of that men's race today. All 6 men's race field categories up and out of that start pen. But let's just say that final 800 metres of the women's race today in all 6 of those race categories, giving us a fabulous finale to the final qualifier of March. You're going to need to join us next week because the teams come out to play in the finals for March of the Sunday Race Club. We're going to be there. I hope you are too. Well, that's going to be one not to miss. We'll see you next Sunday on the Sunday Race Club. Until then, stay safe, enjoy your riding. We'll see you then. Goodbye.